Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Today we're celebrating the Vermont dairy farmer and one farm family in particular. We're honored to announce that the 2019 Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year is Wonder Why Farm in Cabot. It's owned and operated by Morgan and Jen Churchill. At a time when many dairy farms are in crisis, the Churchills have built a farm on hard work and the love of family. Here's Across the Fence's Keith Silva with our story.
Tucked into the rolling hills of Cabot stands Wonder Why Farm. Morgan Churchill thinks he should have changed the name to What If when he and his wife Jen started here in 2005.
The what if is just a sales pitch to my wife. You know, what if we do this or that, or just to get her take on it. But we've been pretty successful with the ones we've been doing. There you go. They just need an opening.
They all come true. All I used to do is say it, and for some reason they happen. So I always am nervous when he comes up with a new idea because I knew somehow it's going to happen.
Morgan didn't come up with the latest what if all on his own. It goes like this. What if Wonder Why Farm was the 2019 Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year? And like the other what ifs, it happened.
I can't believe that for what we've done that we would, be honored with such an award. I mean, as I look back, we've done a lot, but there's a lot of great farms out there. There's a lot of people doing an awesome job.
Morgan and Jen both grew up on dairy farms. When she was a student at VTC and he was looking for work, they hit on an idea to start a farm of their own.
So basically I was getting laid off from Bombardier Transit in Barrie, and I needed a job, so we said, why not farming? So we went back into farming. We decided if we were going to go back farming that organic was the way to go. Because, in the past growing up, my father never used, any commercial fertilizers or antibiotics to speak of, really, because there was never a lot of money to do it,
I mean, every day was just getting through it and going to the next step. But as we look back on it now and how quickly it all happened, it is surprising.
What's surprising about it?
For all the tough times we went through, that we made it work, and it's been successful, and we're now able to raise our family on the farm. So, and that was our goal when we were dating, that if we ever had children, that they would be raised on a farm.
The Churchills got their wish. Sam and Nora are being raised on the farm. They help out with the chores like they've always done. Except nowadays, it's less likely you'll find one of them sleeping on the job. As their family grew, so did the farm. Morgan and Jen started with 15 milking cows. They've increased that number to 120. The decision to farm organically gave the Churchills the financial stability they needed in those early days.
Organic works the best for us. I don't know, it's not any easier, but it's still farming. And probably in the beginning it was a little more money driven than say today. The money's still good, but now we're farming more, I think, for the love of farming.
On average, organic dairy farmers receive a higher pay price for their milk than farmers running conventional dairies. The organic milk industry also operates under a quota system, which limits supply and allows farmers to have a guarantee what they'll be paid. It's this fiscal assurance that's allowed the Churchills to grow their business.
Stability, knowing what you're going to get paid is a huge part. Whatever the pay price is, even if conventional knew what they were getting paid, you can plan on what your bills are going to be then. If the average person goes to work and you don't know what you're making at the end of the week, how do you know what your bills are going to be? It's just what farming is. It's the, knowing what we're going to get paid no matter how big or small it is. It's the key, I think.
With the organic pay price, we're more steady. We don't have the fluctuations quite as much as the conventional market. Although, it has dropped some. Getting things paid down as fast as you can is huge, and trying to save money, which is hard. To be able to turn a profit, it's just huge for your mentality and your happiness of life. To be able to make ends meet, to be able to move forward and to grow.
As the herd size increased, Morgan knew that tie stall milking barn wasn't going to work much longer. So he came up with a what if.
Like I asked my wife about the robots. I was like, what if we had robots, and she kind of just sighed, and I was like, oh, I don't know, that's pretty big. But, and I kept drawing plans on construction paper with crayons, and kept looking at it and, looking at different robots and trying to figure out if that's the way we wanted to go. And we just more or less did it, decided that's the way we want to go, and kind of put it in.
Organic standards require cows to be raised on pasture, which makes having a robot doing the milking a bit of a challenge. The Churchills have trained their cows that when it's time to be milked, they leave the pasture and head to the barn. Wonder Why Farm sends milk directly to Stonyfield. Based on reputation and the quality of the milk, the Churchills were the second farm the company signed up when they started receiving milk direct from farmers. Each cow gets milked 3 times a day. Transponders on their ankles identify each cow. The robot tracks the number of milkings, yield, and other information to maintain productivity. The biggest advantage of using a robot is how it improves the family's quality of life.
It frees us up so we can go to our children's ball games and, school events, and, it frees us up so we can actually go on a vacation. We try to go away once a year, and it's more flexibility. Again, when I was in the tie stall and we were haying, I had to be there to milk, both me and my wife.
The robot saves time and labor, but it comes with risk. This unit costs $375,000. That's before the cost to build the new facility to house the robot and the cows. On top of that, the loan repayment schedule for robots is often short, making the monthly payments steep. For the Churchills, the robot was a calculated risk they were willing to take.
A lot of chicken scratching has gone a long way. We've always had the pencil out with paper and figure it out before we do it, and whether it's feasible or not, but he's the one full of ideas.
Risk never really bothered me. I mean, as far as borrowing money to purchase the robot, we always try to keep our loans 5 years, so that way it's a bigger payment, but if you're used to that payment, and you have the capital to make the payment, it's over and done with quickly. And then whatever you're buying at the end of 5 years isn't totally wore out, just half wore out. So if you can take that money and put it towards the next purchase that you buy.
Boy, these guys do a fantastic job.
Tony Kitsis chairs the committee that selects the Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year. When he and the other judges toured this farm, they got a good feeling the moment they arrived.
When we got here, we pulled up into the driveway, we parked, they saw the entire family walk up. They love to see full family participation. Every time a hired man would come by, they'd stop, talk about what they would do, what their role was on the farm, and just were glad to see us here. And then there's also the aspect of doing their level best to keep things within their family, ensuring that the legacy of the farm goes on, and that they are now the custodians of that. When you do things that way with an eye to the future and some conscious thinking as you're going along, you have a tendency to wind up Farm of the Year.
The Churchills have prospered at a time of low pay prices and stagnant markets. If there's a secret to their success, it's all in the family. What's it like to be a dairy farmer in 2019?
It's a little scary.
So what do you do?
Family. I know, you got to find a reason for why you do what you do. And you have bad days where you wonder, maybe I should go do something else. Maybe this isn't our best choice, but for the most part, the good days outweigh the bad.
You can worry about all that stuff all the time, and stress yourself out, or you can just take day by day and, figure out what you're doing for the day and not worry about that stuff. And as long as you're paying your bills at the end of the month, and that's the happiness in farming. That's what keeps us going. And I love this life. It's for me, I guess. Yeah.
There are a lot of unknowns in farming, a lot of what ifs. Morgan and Jen have used what if to build their business, careers, and family. The Churchill family, the 2019 Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year. In Cabot, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
Even with the robotic milking system, Jen Churchill says she keeps her routine of being in the barn by 4:30 each morning. She calls it her time and says she enjoys the peace and quiet of daybreak. UVM Extension Farm Management Educator Tony Kitsos is with me now to talk a little bit more about this year's award and this year's winners. Thank you so much for coming in.
Good morning, Fran. Thanks for having me.
So you don't choose this award on your own. You do have partners involved. Who are those?
Yes, we do. The partners that are involved are UVM Extension, of course, the Vermont Dairy Industry Association, the Agency of Agriculture, New England Dairy Promotion Board, and a whole host of other people who support the program.
Terrific. And there's really a rich history to this Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year award. It started a little bit with bragging rights, right?
Started with a throwing down of the gauntlet from Governor Charles Dale of New Hampshire back in 1947 when he challenged the other New England states to produce greener pastures than what New Hampshire could produce. And he said, and I'll bet a hat that no one can do it.
And Vermont just came right back at it.
And Vermont came right back at it, always up for the challenge, as well as the other New England states.
So Wonder Why Farm is organic. Did that have was that a major piece of this award?
So the award is available to anybody who produces dairy, and organic as well as conventional, grass-based dairies. This year we had 3 organic farms that were nominated for the award, as well as a few conventional farms, and the selection committee chose 4 to go visit for the day.
Great. So you've been chairing this committee for several years now. Is it true that one farm always just stands out and you're pretty clear about who's going to win, or is there a lot of debate that goes on?
Well, we'd like to think that one farm always stands out, but you know, usually the 4 farms that we go visit are pretty well even in their nominations and their accomplishments, and somebody usually rises above. But at the end of the day, after we've toured all the farms, it's usually a very tough decision that the judges need to make.
Right, and you said that you need to be a good ambassador for this. Is part of that also to be able to talk about Vermont dairy farms?
That's right. Dairy is a challenge right now, and but we want to make sure that the recipient of this award can be a good ambassador. They're going to be contacted by news outlets from across the country. They will be exhibited at the Big E down in Springfield, Mass. So we want to make sure that there's a lot of good positive things that are going on and a good positive attitude to sort of promote Vermont dairy.
Okay, well, Tony Kitsos, thank you so much for joining us today. And once again, our congratulations to the Churchill family for the Vermont Dairy Farm of the Year Award. And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard.